I count myself doubly lucky to have been both a pupil and colleague of Theo. Inevitably, I think, when a former pupil returns to join the staff, there is bound to be an element of paternal patronising. A constant joke of Theo's was to say, "Boy, what are you doing in the common room?" It's probably fair to say that because of this relationship, Theo found it easier to ask me to do things that he might have jibbed at asking anyone else. Sometimes it was relatively straightforward, like at weekends, going into his flat to feed Grubby, that cat of all cats, who was far more important than any other living creature. But some requests were far from run-of-the-mill. I remember one occasion when the telephone rang at 5 a.m. It was Theo. "Michael, is that you?" "Yes, Theo." "How did you know it was me?" Theo frequently expressed surprise that one had identified his unmistakable voice. "Michael, you have a car?" "Yes, Theo." "Michael, please come round at once. It's very important. I'll explain when you get here." Allowing curiosity to overcome my desire for sleep, I hastily got dressed and made the journey from Eccleston Square to Great College Street, where Theo was waiting for me, holding a large bag. He got into the bag and into the car, put the bag on the back seat, and sat expectantly. "Where are we going, Theo?" "Oh, Hampstead Heath. Do you know the way?" Luckily I did, so we set off, and I asked what we were going to do on Hampstead Heath, to which Theo replied that we were going to let off fireworks. He then explained that he had heard on the radio that in a certain part of North London, fireworks were being sold, Catherine wheels I think, despite being faulty and potentially dangerous. Accordingly, Theo had gone round all the shops in this area and had bought up their entire stock of this particular firework. He now proposed that we should let them off on Hampstead Heath to render them harmless. There followed a conversation in which we debated whether we might not be breaking some law by letting off fireworks in a public place. It wasn't actually November the 5th, though not far off, and the IRA bombing was at its height. By now, we were in a state of considerable indecision, when I remembered that I knew some girls who had a garden flat in Hampstead, so we decided to ask them if we could let off the fireworks in their garden. However, the girls were not at all enthusiastic. Their garden was small, and they were understandably concerned about the feelings of their neighbours. It was still only about 6 a.m. So we retired defeated. Then one of us hit upon the brilliant idea that immersing the fireworks in a bucket of water would render them safe just as effectively as letting them off, if not more so. So the whole episode ended like a damn squib. Of course, what this shows, more significantly than what might be expected of his sidekicks, is the extent to which Theo took upon himself the cares of the whole world, and his capacity of feeling for the suffering of mankind, often torturing himself in the process. On a less global, more personal level, I know that many of us have been the beneficiaries of his caring concern and kindness. I cannot let this moment pass without recording the particular debt that those of us who are teachers owe to Theo. It is said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and I know that what we pass on from Theo is of the highest possible standard, whether consciously or subconsciously. On a superficial level, there is the agonized gasp when a pupil mispronounces a word like ego. But more profoundly, Theo has inspired us to inculcate a desire for truth, exactness, and accuracy. Whether it arose on a one-to-one level while going through prose compositions in his flat, when it was of the utmost importance to check whether a word had actually been used by Cicero. Or there was the cut and thrust of classroom debate in the Busby Library, as we examined in painstaking detail the evidence concerning the Peace of Callias. In the end, I think, we were unsure whether the Peace of Callias had actually existed. But of course, what mattered was not the conclusion, but the scholarly approach that we were being taught to follow. We will all have our own particular memories of Theo, but I am confident that everyone will agree that our lives have been the richer for knowing this remarkable man.